Okay, let's get started. Zok Tehillah Gemara. So we are right at the top of Mem Daled Amud Aleph, and we were in the middle of a discussion of whether or not, even after there's a Revis, after we cross the Arden, we had a discussion as to whether or not we're responsible only for the niglois of others or even for the stories of others. Good morning, Mati. Good morning, Shmuel.
Good morning.
So we were in the middle of a discussion with Achan. We had a machlokes between Rabbi Nechem and Rabbi Yehuda. Rabbi Yehuda held that once we had a revus, once we crossed the Yarden and we're responsible for each other, we're even responsible for each other's nistoris, hidden averas. And Achan's avera was nistar. Nobody knew that he was moil from the cherem, and therefore we were punished for it. But when Achan was moil in the cherem that Moshe Rabbeinu made, there we were not punished for it because there was no Arabians yet. Rabbi Nechem said, not at all. We're never going to be responsible for others if they do an aver that's pitzina. Hanisterois lashem elokeinu, niglois lanu levneinu adoilam. Even niglois we were never responsible for, but once we crossed over the Yarden, there was arvos, and we're responsible for each other's niglois. So, Frekhamor, based on that, why was Klal Yisrael punished for Achan, who did an avera in private? Not everybody knew that he had taken from the cherem. So the Gemara on Mem Daled Amud Aleph starts off, Achan my time at Ianush, Gemara mishum to have a yoda be ishtoi uvana. His wife and children knew, so it's impossible that other people didn't know. And there's a whole tumult about this, because ishtoi uvana would be three people, his wife and his two sons, let's say. That apet lasa. And we know anything that was in front of apet lasa is a milsa, the gully, and you're allowed to say it over. But the problem is that the Chafetz Chaim says that when do you say if Lashon Hara said apet lasa, we consider it already publicized? That's if none of the three people have a vested interest in protecting the person spoken about. But if it's his own family, that wouldn't be mefarshim anything at all, because they would be very eager to conceal what happened. So there's a whole discussion about it. Zok the Gemara weiter. The Gemara is now getting into the discussion between HaKadosh Baruch Hu and Yeshua when it was discovered that Klal Yisrael got beaten up by Ai. We would call that they got a black eye. And because of that, Yeshua petitioned the Rebbeinu Shalom, what's going on? Chata Yisrael. Hashem told Yeshua, Chata Yisrael. Amar Baba Barzavdo, Aval Pisha Chata Yisraelu. Even though we do Averis, we're always considered Yisrael. Amar Abava, like Rabbi Abba said, Hani Damarinchi, that's what the Velt says. Asa, a beautiful hadas, the Koi Beni Chilfi, that's sitting amongst ugly bushes, weeds. Asa Shmei, it's still referred to as Hahadas, the Asu Karle, and we're still called that. So therefore, even though we're in a bad matzav, we have bad people amongst us, we're still considered Yisrael. Rashi touches Chilfi as Urtayish. I don't know what the English word for that is. Does anybody have an English art scroll that says what the English translation of Urtayish is? As you can imagine, here in the old city, you can't find English art scrolls. They're only the blue ones.
What do you want to know? What's what?
Rashi touches Chilfi as Urtayish.
Willows.
I'm just wondering, willows. So even though the Hadassim are mixed in with the willows, they're still called Hadassim. Zok Tehillah Gemara weiter. Again, HaKadosh Baruch Hu told Yeshua, V'gam over as brisi, they were over my bris. Asher tzivisi oisam, that I commanded them. Gam lakhu min acherem, they took from the cherem. Gam gonvu, so let's count the gams. The gam over as brisi, number one. Gam lakhu min acherem, number two. Gam gonvu, number three. Gam kechashu, they lied. Gam somu b'chleim, they put items from the cherem in their kelim. There's 5 gams. Amar b'loy mishum Yehuda bar misparta malamit she'over Achan al chamisha chumshe Torah. Achan was over on chamisha chumshe Torah, and the Aruch there points out that each one of these halachas mentioned by the gam are in a different chumash. So I didn't go through them all, but I guess Lokum Necherim is in one chumash, Geneva is in a different chumash, V'chichesh Ramisa is in a third chumash, some of Bechlayim is in a different chumash. So they're all in different chumashim. So each gam refers to the fact that Achan was over in a whole chumash. Amar b'loy mishum abidu bar misparta melamed she'over Achan al chamisha chumash Torah shenemar chamisha gam. Amar b'loy mishum abidu bar misparta Achan moishech be'erloisai. Achan would pull back, he would pull his orlo to try to stretch it out to make him look like he was not mole. How do we know that? Ksiv Achan v'gam over as Berisi. By Achan, HaKadosh Baruch Hu told Yeshua over as Berisi. Ksiv Achan as Berisi Hefar, referring to somebody who doesn't have a bris. Frank Mar Pshita, if you already said that Achan was over in Chamisha Chum Torah, so the bris is one of them. Why do you need to itemize that he was made for his bris? I'm adding in a dalit. You would have thought, yeah, he had other affairs, but affairs where he's actually changing his goof to be like a goy, that's a bit much. Maybe that he wouldn't have done. Kamash Lon, Rabbi Loi, that he did that as well. The pasuk goes on and says, "V'chi asa nevala b'Yisrael." He did a davar nivel, a miyasazach in Klal Yisrael. Amr Baba Berzabdu Malamed Shabual Achan Naira Hamu Rasa. Achan was boil a Naira Hamu Rasa, which has a chiv skila. Ksiv Hacha the chi asa nevala, uksiv Hasam by being boil a Naira Rasa, he asa nevala b'Yisrael. Frank, the more the same question as before. Pshita, it's part of the Chumash Chumsha Torah. So why would you need to itemize the Nevala? It's one thing to do an Avera, but it's another thing to mess somebody else up. Rashi says, by Pakanafshi, Kuli Hai, Ralu Shemaim, Viral Briois, Levayish as Mishpachto, Loisral Baila, that's pretty bad. It's not just a Vinodam Lamokim, it's a Vinodam Machavera, he's bringing shame to the whole family. Maybe he wouldn't have done that. Dr. Mark Kamashalon that Achan did that. Ravina Amar, we never meant that he was actually boiled an iron Harasa. All he said was Dine Kenaira Hamurasa to Biskila. The way Achan was punished, the way he was gepaskened upon, it was with skila, and that happens to be the same oinish that someone who's boiled an iron Harasa gets. Amalei Reish Galusha L'Rafun. The Reish Galusha asked Rav Huna the following question. Ksiv it says, "V'yikach Yeshua es Achan ben Zarach v'yas kesef and the money v'es haderes and the beautiful fabric, the beautiful garment v'es l'shoyna azov and the tongue of gold, the kabar of gold v'es bonov and his children v'es benoisav and his daughters, his sons and his daughters v'es shoyroi v'es chamoyroi v'es tzaynoi v'es oloi v'es kol asherloi." So let's have a look at the whole pasuk, because there's more to the pasuk. So I'm going to read the pasuk from the side. V'yigach Yeshua es Achan ben Zerach v'es hakesef v'es haderes v'es l'shen hazov v'es bana v'es benoisov v'es shoyer v'es chemorei v'es tzayna v'es oloi v'es kol hashaloi and v'chol Yisrael imoi v'yalu oisam emekach. So everybody was there. Freit the Gemara im hu chata kol Yisrael ma chatu. I'm sorry. Im hu chata bana v'noisav machal. He did a severa. Why are his children responsible? Why were they schlepped out? Amar lei. So he answered him back. So the Reish Galusa answered back, or Rav Huna answered back to the Reish Galusa. That's your question. Ask more. What chet did all of Klal Yisrael do that they were schlepped out to see this happen? It says that all of Klal Yisrael was taken to this Maimid where Achan was going to get punished. Ella, the reason why they were all called out is l'radoisan, to teach them that this is something to avoid. It was to put the fear in them, as Rashi Shiyiru Eskil Kuloi, they'll see how Achan was makalkel, the Yisar Ba'atzman, and they'll be careful, and they won't do such things again. They will no longer do that same Aveira. That's why everybody had to come out. Hachanami, so too, that's why Achan's children had to come out. It says, Vayisrafu oisam ba'esh. They burnt everything in fire. Vayiskalu oisam ba'avana. And they skila. You can't give someone 2 misas. Omar Avina, a royal is shreifa. The things that could be burnt were burnt. A royal is skila. The things that are royal is skila, God skila. Rashi lists off which things are royal is skila and which things are royal is shreifa. Rashi is a royal is shreifa is kesev is begodim. They burn that and that ruins it. I understand by begodim get ruined in fire, but does kesev and zov get ruined in fire? Unless it was designed, it wasn't just a block, and therefore it gets messed up if it's heated. And a royal skila who share of all of the live people involved, all the live brios involved got skila. Everything else was thrown into a fire. I guess you can't give skila to a beged, you can't give skila to a piece of gold, so they put it into a fire. Zok to Gemara weiter. The era bishlo. So Ochan is confessing. I saw in the shalom Adera Shinar Achas, a beautiful Adera Shinar. Toivet was really nice. Umasayim Shkolim Kesef, a 200 Shkolim of Kesef. Rav Amar, what was this beged that he saw? It's the Loda Milsa. It was a beged, a coat of very fine wool. Shmuel Amar Sarbel the Tzrifa, it was a very chashva type of scarf, I think. What does the article touch as milsa? I think it's like a white wool.
It was a cloak dyed with alum, alum.
No, that's sarvel of the trifa. Sarvel of the trifa is the thing with alum.
It's still the milsa. A cloak of fine wool.
A fine wool. Okay, it's fine wool. It's not just alum. Alum is something. I don't know what color alum is. Does anybody know what color that is?
White.
What's that?
White.
Anybody know? It's white.
White wool.
Okay. Vayotzikum l'fnei Hashem. Yeshua sort of gave him a dump out, like with indignant. He was indignant. He gave a dump out on the floor, and Amar Rav Nachman bo v'chavtam l'fnei Mokim. He like threw it out with a defiance, and he told the Rebbeinu Shalom, Amar l'fanav Rebbeinu Shalom al elu tehareg ruba shel Sanhedrin. I can't reproach because of these two little Narisha things, you're going to kill so many Yidden in the Roiv of Sanhedrin. It says that Klal Yisrael suffered with the counterattack from Ai. It was 36 people. The Sanhedrin is 71. So 36 is Roiv of Sanhedrin. So you would kill Roiv of Sanhedrin because of a couple of Narisha little items. It was like a stickle aggressive taina that Yeshua was saying to the Rebbeinu Shalom. Utanya, we learned, Shloishim v'shisha mamish to Rabbi Yehuda. Rabbi Yehuda held it was mamish 36 people were killed by Ai. However, Amar lo Rab Nechemia, it doesn't say Shloishim v'shisha. V'chi Shloishim v'shisha hayu, v'lo nemar ela ki Shloishim v'shisha ish. It says in the pasuk like 36 people were killed. What does that mean? It was one person who was shokol keneged 36 people. It was a Yair ben Menashe sheshokol keneged ruba shel Sanhedrin. He was such a massive Talmud Chacham, he was connected, he was equal to 36 people of Sanhedrin, and he was killed by Ai. Omar Nachman Omar Rav, Maidich Siv, Tachtoinim, Tachanunim, Yidaber Rosh. A poor person, he speaks quietly, he speaks edel, the Ashir, but an Ashir Yana Azus, he'll be tough. Tachanunim Yidaber Rosh, a poor person speaks edel, Ze Moshe. The Asher Yana Azus Ze Yoshua. So this is a very fascinating line. Is the Gemara Chas v'Sholom knocking Yoshua, saying he was tough? And why is Moshe a Rosh? And why is Yeshua considered an Asher? So there are those who learn that the reason why Yeshua was considered an Asher is because when he came into Eretz Yisrael, he only had one mess under his belt, that the Yarden split. But when Moshe Rabbeinu spoke to Rebbeinu Shalom, he had many nisim under his belt. So Moshe felt like my schusim are depleted. I don't have a starkataina to demand anything, so I have to ask very edel. While Yeshua felt that I didn't use up any of my schusim yet. I only made one nace, so I'm empowered.
Moshe Rabbeinu also spoke with chutzpah before any nisim were done for him. Well, actually, maybe one, but he's a lama haresa amazev lama shlachtani.
That's
right?
gewaltig. That's gewaltig. That's mamish the Lublina strikes again. If we count a couple of weeks in the past, that's part of it. Gemara is going to bring it up in just a moment. The Gemara is going to bring exactly that pasuk up in just a moment. So it's gewaltig. So let's see what we have over here. So the Aruch LaNer says, Chas v'sholom oy vavoy. If somebody is mefarish this with wrongfully thinking that this is knocking Yeshua, not at all. It's just saying that Yeshua mond when Moshe Rabbeinu didn't, but you have to be very careful with this thinking that we could knock Yeshua. He was a novi. He wasn't a lightweight. So Zok to Gemara. My time, what exactly do you?
Yosy, just as far as speaking harsh, is it only to the Rebbeinu Shalom or even to Klal Yisrael?
No, it's only to the Rebbeinu Shalom in defense of Klal Yisrael. So it says over here. It says over here. Amar Nachman. I'm sorry. My time. Ilema mishum dechsev v'yatikim ofnei Hashem. If it's based on what we just said, that Yeshua seemed to have, in a defined fashion, demanded, you're going to kill Klal Yisrael because of this. The Amar of Nachman Ba v'chavta l'fnei Mokim, like we just learned a moment ago, that's not unique to Yeshua. Or to Pinchas lo yavarachi. Didn't Pinchas do something similar like that? Because v'yamid Pinchas v'yifalel atiyat shemagefa. So Pashup Pshat is that he davened v'yispalel. But v'yamar of Elazar v'yispalel loy nemar ela v'yifalel. What did Pinchas do? Melamish also plilois in koinai. He took a strong stance of din with the Rebbeinu Shalom, and he took the corpses of Zimri and Cosby, whom he just killed, and he also threw him down in defiance in front of the Rebbeinu Shalom. Amar lefanav, Rebbeinu Shalom, al elu yiplu esrim v'arba elef Yisrael. Because of these two people, you're going to kill 24,000 Yidden. So that wasn't unique to Yeshua. We need to find something that was unique to Yeshua that showed that he came with a little bit of a toughness. Lama havarta why did you take Klal Yisrael over the Yarden? What do we need this for? Zok to Gemara, Moshe Nami Meimar, like Abdullah just asked, Lama Hare Oisa Lama Zeh. So that's not either unique to Yeshua. So we need to find something that was unique to Yeshua. If we would have remained on the other side of the Yarden, that is something unique that Yeshua said, and that's where we see that he had a little bit of a gvura. So before HaKadosh Baruch Hu got into the details, the first thing HaKadosh Baruch Hu said to Yeshua, after Yeshua was upset about what happened by Ai, was Kum Lech. That's what HaKadosh Baruch Hu told Yeshua. Kum Lach. I'm sorry. Kum Lach. Let's look at the whole pasuk inside. It says let's see if I can find it over here. Do I have it over here? What numbers? I mean, no. Oh, yeah, is it number 15? It's number 15. Yeshua kum lach lama zeh atanoifel alpanach. So kum lach. So Dorish Abshila. Amalek Kadosh Baruch Hu. You're blaming Klal Yisrael that they were over the chayim. You did much worse than them. Shalach kashem mishalach. You did worse. Why? Ani amarti. I instructed you. As soon as you cross the Yarden, Tokimu set up the matzeva, the stones that we talked about that you got from the Yarden. You put it 60 mil further by Hargrizim and Harivel, I think. Zok to Gemara, Basar Denofik, after Rab Shila left, Ukim Rav Amoira. Rav said, I don't like this pshat because you're saying that Yeshua didn't listen to the Rebbeinu Shalom. V'dor hasheni dashen kasher tziva Hashem es Moshe avdoi kein tziva Moshe es Yoshua v'chein also Yoshua So the pasuk is made that Yeshua did exactly as instructed. So how can you tell me that Yeshua did not follow the instructions? The Torah is made on him that he was. You're the one who caused all this trouble. You know why? Because who asked you to make a cherem? The Rebbeinu wasn't mitzvah that there should be a cherem. Yeshua got up and said, anything that comes, any spoils of this war, when we take over Yerichai, is cherem. Who asked you to do that? By you doing that, you created an opportunity for this affair to happen, and it's really your fault. Behind the Ka'amar lay the Ai, and that's why when they eventually took over Ai, Yeshua rescinded that cherem. He told them, "Vasisalai ulamalka kasher sisal yerichai," meaning you're going to destroy it. However, kasher also yerichai ulamalka. But then it says at the end of the pasuk, which is the key words. So let me look up at 18. Vasisalai ulamalka kasher sisal yerichai ulamalka. Rak shlola uvehemta tavoizu lachem. You'll be able to keep all the shalom. Meaning, you see, Yeshua backed out from doing this cherem. Well, the problem is Moshe Rabbeinu put a cherem on the cities that he captured from Amalek and Zichon. So what did Yeshua do any different? Why wouldn't he learn from his Rebbe to put a cherem on? Zog and the Mefarshim, there's a massive difference. I'm sorry?
I'm saying, I can almost suggest a title for your year. You have an AI here before AI was ever a thing. Everybody had AI.
Oh, very good. Thank you. Thank you very much. Okay. See, you're keeping your eye on the ball.
I don't think Moshe Rabbeinu made a cherem on Sichon and Og. They took the show. What?
Oh, but so who did he make a cherem on? He made a cherem on some of the people.
Yeah, you know who it was? I think it was. I can't remember. That town in south of Eretz Yisrael, when they were coming from the south and they were beaten back. Who was that?
Yeah,
it was,
no.
It was the Canaanim. It was called the Canaanim, but it really was the Amalek, Rashi says.
Oh, because they dressed up? Was that case?
Yes, I think that was it.
So the Canaanim dressed up like Amalekim.
So there are two battles. I think. One they lost, one they won.
And so I assume it's the one that they won that they made the cherem.
Yes.
So the question is, so what did Yeshua do wrong? He learned it from his Rebbe. The territory is there was a massive difference. When Moshe Rabbeinu made the cherem, it was before there was arvos. So we told people not to take, and he wasn't worried if someone would take. It wouldn't impact Allah Klal Yisrael. It's his own affair. It's a private affair. There you could do that, but Yeshua didn't realize that when he was making a cherem, it was with a whole different set of stakes. The stakes were much higher because after they crossed into Eretz Yisrael, now there's a rebus. Now, if even one person is going to be moil on the cherem, such as Achan, it's going to take down all of Klal Yisrael. So that was the album Yeshua did. You can't copycat your Rebbe. You have to understand the implications of what your Rebbe did and where it applies, and only apply a similar thing. But don't put a situation in where you're putting the entire Klal Yisrael in danger. Okay, now is one of the most beautiful conversations that happened with Yeshua and the Malach. It says, this was when they were sieging Yerichai, and at night they maintained the siege, and because of that they couldn't do korbanos, they couldn't learn. They had to hold the Yerichai under siege. And Yeshua picked up his eyes and he saw. I'll look at Pasuk 19. I mean, it's 19. There was a man standing opposite him. He didn't know who it was. He had a sword drawn. Are you one of us? Or you are an enemy? And the Malach answered back, I came now. Yeshua fell to the floor, but he bowed down. So let's see how the Gemara dashes these passages. How was Yeshua able to bow down to this person who he didn't know who was? You're not allowed to give shalom to your friend at night. You know why? Maybe it's a shade. But here the Malach had identified himself already. Shiny Hosam, the Kamerle, and he started Tzavah Bosi. Maybe he was a shade, and he was lying. Vidoma Meshakri. Zakamar, we didn't have to worry about that. Gemiri, we learn, we know the Loimafki Shem Shemaim Levatola. Even a shade will not say Shem Shemaim Levatola. So once he said Kanis Har Tzavah Hashem Atabosi, he knew that this was a real Malach. Then there's a discussion: how could you shoot that right onto a Malach? So that's the whole discussion as well in the Rishon. Amarle, so the Malach told Yeshua, you know why we're bunning you? Because Amash Vitaltem Talmud Shal Ben Arbaim. Yesterday, you were in the middle of fighting a war with Yericha, you were putting a siege around the city, and because of that, you did not read the Korban Tobit. The Achshav, and now at night, where you, instead of going back to your camp, you maintain the siege overnight, Vitaltem Talmud Torah. You're actively fighting this war, you're creating this siege, you're not learning. So that was an avla. You should have wrapped it up for the night and sat and learned. So al Ezamahen Basa. So Yeshua said, you said that I've done 2 avers. Which aver did you come to money for? Amar loy ata bas. I came for ata, meaning the aver that's negay right now. We're at night. Now it's not the time to bring Talmidim and Musafim. It's not a time to bring Karbanis. I'm coming for the aver that you're currently violating, that you're not learning Torah now. Miyad, what's the next pasuk right away? Vayolan Yeshua balayla hu b'toich Emek. Right away, Yeshua stayed up night and he spent the night in Emek. What does Emek mean? He was orangutan in learning because he took the Musa for the mouth. Amar Shmuel Bar Unya Mishmed Rav Gadol Talmud Torah Yosy Mekarvas Tamidim. You see from here that Talmud Torah is greater than Karvas Tamidim. Shenemar Atabasi. You see, there was 2 avers, but the aver that the Malach came with the Charbo Shlufa B'Yodoi, that was about the Bidul Torah. So there's a very interesting kasha on this shtickle. If I ask you a question, is the answer, and I give you a multiple choice, is the answer A or is the answer B? And let's say I ask you such a question, and the answer is actually B. You would typically answer me, the answer is B. I give you a choice, A or B. B is right, you'd say B. And I definitely wouldn't say C, and I definitely wouldn't say you're wrong, you're making a mistake, because I'm not making a mistake, it was B. Here, what did the Malach say? What did Yeshua ask him? Lanu or Litzarein? Are you Lanu? And Tosfos teaches us, not over here, but Tosfos teaches us elsewhere, that Lanu is referring to Torah, Tziva, Lanu, Moshe, Rasha Kilish Yaakov. Are you coming to mon me for the Avera of Bittul Torah? Or Litzareinu, are you coming to mon me for being Mevatel the Karbonos, Hamegan Oleinu, Litzareinu, that protects us from our enemies? So what should the Malach's answer have been? Lanu, I'm wanting you for Torah, Torah Tziva Lanu Moshe. But the Malach said, Lo, you're making a mistake. Why are you making a mistake? That was his first choice. And then he said, Kani Sar Tzavah Hashem Ata Basi, and Ata refers to Va'atu Kisvu Satara Zoi Sima B'fiyam. So what the Malach says Yeshua is wrong, Yeshua is right. And why did the Malach need to pick a different pasuk? Why couldn't he pick Torah Tziva Lanu Moshe to indicate Torah just like Yeshua said? So this kasha was asked by the Panavicharov. It's good to remember this word, because this is the Haftorah, I believe, on the first day of Pesach. So it's a good word to say over. So Zok Panavicharov Gavaltik is that. You're making a mistake, Yeshua. Because why were you mevatel the Talmud? Because ha'isik b'mitzvah pater min mitzvah. You're in the midst of fighting a melchemes mitzvah, so you have to be mevatel the Talmud. You said that what is the chiyuv to learn Torah? Torah tziva lanu Moshe me'rasha kilish Yaakov. It's a tradition, like any other mitzvah. It's a mitzvah like any other mitzvah. But if that was the case, again, you are fighting a war. You have the halacha of ha'isik b'mitzvah pater min mitzvah. So the Malach told Yeshua, you're wrong. You know why you're wrong? Because you think the only mechayah to learn Torah is in Moirasha. It's a mitzvah like any other mitzvahs. But if that was the case, you'd be right to be mevatla. I'm warning you because of Ata Kisu Lechemes Ashira Azois. We know HaKadosh Baruch Hu only created the world for us to say Shira. And if we're not going to learn Torah, we'll have no survival. It's like this famous story with the fox and the fish. He wanted to take him out of the water. If we don't have the Torah, we have no existence. So the Malach said, that's your mistake. Your mistake is you're treating Torah like a regular mitzvah. Torah is not a regular mitzvah. Torah is our lifeline. It's our blood. It's our neshama. It's our goof. It's everything. Without it, nothing continues. Everything ceases to exist. And had you known that, then you would have learned Torah. And immediately, Vayol and Yeshua, Malay lahu b'toichei. Beautiful verse from the Palav Tzarav. V'amar Rabbi Yochanan, Melamed Shalom b'uk b'shalach. Amar Shalom v'onu yishmei the Rav Gadol Talmud Torah Yosy Makrobus Tamidim Shneimar Ato Basi. Amalei Abaye l'Rav Dimi. Hai Kra b'Ma'arava b'May Misile. I'm going to quote a pasuk for you, and I want you to tell me what the Olim in Eretz Yisrael, how they understand, how are they going to darshan this pasuk. And it says in the pasuk as follows: Al teitzei l'riv maher. Don't jump to fight. Meaning, if you see something that your friend does and you suspect that he did something wrong, don't attack him yet, because maybe there's a good explanation to what he did. And when you attack him, you're going to end up with a lot of egg on your face for accusing him of something that was nishkeshtoig and nishkefloigen. Pen ma ta'asa b'achrisa b'hachla moisa re'acha. Because eventually your friend's going to show you that he did nothing wrong at all. You jumped on him for nothing, and you're going to be embarrassed. And rivcha rives re'acha, and even if you're going to fight with your friend, even if there's a legitimate reason for you to fight with your friend, v'soid acher al togel. Even if you're going to fight with your friend because he did you an avla, you could be upset at him for doing avla. But don't bring up things that aren't him. Don't say, and not only are you a low life, but your father was a low life, your grandfather was a low life. That you should never do. If you're going to fight with somebody, stick to the issue at hand. Don't bring up other things that no one needs to know about that aren't things that your friend directly did to you. Vishash Amar LaKadosh Baruch Hu Yecheskel. LaKadosh Baruch Hu told Yecheskel, Lech Emar Lahem Yisrael. Go tell Klal Yisrael as follows: Avicha ha'Amori ve'imcha chitis. Your father is an Amori, your mother is a chitis, meaning that's how you're acting. You're acting like you come from Goyim because you're not doing the mitzvahs. Rashi says, actually, Avicha Amori is from Terach, the voice of Mechnanbo. But the point is, you're doing Averis, you're acting like them. Amra, so Avicha Amori ve'imcha chitis. Amra Ruach Paskoinis l'fnei HaKadosh Baruch Hu. The Ruach Paskoinis told HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Who is the Ruach Paskoinis? Rashi says it's the Malach Gavriel. Paskoinis means the protector of Klal Yisrael. Gavriel is known to be the protector of Klal Yisrael. He's always there to protect us from difficulties. So he protects us from the wrath of HaKadosh Baruch Hu as well. And Gavriel confronted the Rebbeinu Shalom. And he said, Rebbeinu Shalom, Im Yavoyu Avram v'Sara v'yamdu lefanach. If Avram and Sarah were right here, Ata Omer Lachem, you would say that you're a kutis and you're a chitis, you're an amoyri and a chitis. Would you say that to Avram's face? Why would you speak about Klal Yisrael, about a gnai of their parents that's not what they did? Gavriel asked on the Rebbeinu Shalom. The pasuk says, "Rivcha riv esreyecha v'soid acher al toga." So in Marova they dash in the pasuk that Yecheskel used this pasuk to confront the Rebbeinu Shalom. Frag the Gemara, does Gavriel have such a koyach that he could confront the Rebbeinu Shalom in such a way? As Rashi says, that's a little bit of an aggressive stance. Does Gavriel have the koyach to actually do that? Zok to Gemara, as a matter of fact, he does. Like Gavriel had three names: Piskoin, Itmoin, and Sigroin. Piskoin, he will be very tough to protect Klal Yisrael. Itmoin, he plugs the Averis of Klal Yisrael. I guess Itmoin is Menashe Toman, I guess. So he hides or he plugs up the Averis of Klal Yisrael. And Sigroin means if for some reason there's such a wrath, there's such a charoinaf that Gavriel's limut schus, his siniguria, isn't going to work, no malach will get involved, because if Gavriel couldn't do it, nobody else could. Kivin Shasoiger, once Gabriel shuts down his arguments to protect Klal Yisrael, Shuv Einoi Pesach. No other malach is going to get involved because that's already too much. It won't help. It's Rashi says, "Ein malach achar Pesach b'vakosha ilo yoyo." It's not going to help. Zok to Gemara weiter. Hayaroich shuacha loy botzar. So Rashi, Kach hayu ayim chayver v'liyoi. Eoiv is a story about Eoiv who suffered terrible tsuris, and his friends were having a discussion with him. So they asked him the following question: Hayaroich shuacha, did you daven to Hashem loy botzar even before you had tsuris? So reading Rashi, Klumik damta shuacha loy bitzar ad loy bo hatzara. Did you daven to Kadosh Baruch Hu for preventative medicine? You didn't. Im hayisa oisa kain, had you done that, hayu hakoil ma'amtzin eskoichacha, everybody would have strengthened you. We'll have to see who everybody is. But the point is you should have davened when you're healthy. Don't only say Rafa'enu with kavanah if someone's sick. We should always say Rafa'enu. Whatever we daven for, we should daven for it even if it doesn't happen. We should always daven that we should be protected from these type of tzaras. So they mourned Eob that he didn't do that. Person should always daven before the tzara comes. So Malay hiktim Avram tefillah tzara bein beis el bein ai. Avram davened there in advance to protect us from the aver of Achan. We would not have had anybody left. Instead of just having 36 people die, or maybe Yair die, who's connected after the Sanhedrin, all of Klal Yisrael would have gotten wiped out if it wasn't for Avram Avinu setting it up many, many years before and davening for us. Rish Lakish Omar Kol Ma'ametz Atzmai B'Tfilah Milamata, someone who strengthens his Tfilah Milamata, down here, Ein Lo Tzor Milamayla, as Rashi says, Ein Tzorim Yechoylon Lahastina Milamayla. The Malach HaChavolah won't be able to be mekatrik on him. A person should always daven that everybody should help strengthen him. We're going to see what that means. It's a very controversial subject. You shouldn't have enemies up there. And let's look at this Rashi. Who is this referring to? So the malachim will help him beg for rachmim. He shouldn't have any prosecutors up there. If you're going to come to daven, this is how you should do it. So we're learning it a little differently than what we learned before. It wasn't Eov's friends telling him you should have davened before you had tzaros. What it means here is when you daven, you should daven that shelo yilach tzarim. You shouldn't have any malachim go against you. V'shakol yiu b'maimetzei koichecha. Everyone should be there to support you. Now, where is this a very big shaila? We know there's a big shaila, but we say, I think, machnise rachamim at the end of slichas, meaning we're like davening to the malach to help bring our tefillas to the Rebbeinu Shalom. That seems to be what Rashi is saying, that we want to get the malachim on side to daven for us. So we're davening to them that they should help us. There's a big shaila if you're allowed to do that. And this Rashi touches on it, because this Rashi is saying that you're supposed to daven for the malachim to help you. That's a Rashi means hakol ma'amtzim eskoichai. Not everybody learns that hakol ma'amtzim eskoichai means that. Zok to Gemara weiter. Minayin shekiper loy viduyav. How do we know that the viduy of Achan was mechaper? Tanu Rabbanan. Minayin shekiper loy viduyav shenemar v'yomer leYoshua machar tanu. You muddied our waters. Yarkacha Hashem hayoyim haseh. You're only dirty today. Meaning the misa will be a kapara for you, and you won't suffer in Olam Haba. Uchsuvim v'nezarach Zimri v'Eson v'Heman v'Chilkel v'Darda kulam chamisha. All the 5 children, these were of Achan. My kulam chamisha hein la'olam haba. It means they all went to Olam Haba. Ksiv Zimri uksiv Achan. It says that Zimri was going to Olam Haba, and it says Achan. Now we know sometimes he's called Zimri, and sometimes he's called Achan. Also, it says Zimri So Zimri was one of the 5 who went to Olam Haba. So you see, Achan went to Olam Haba. Why is he called Zimri son? Zok Gemara, Rav Shmuel, Chadamar Achan Shemai. His name was really Achan. That's what he got by his bris. Alama Nikra Shemai Zimri, Sha'asamai Zimri. Now, Asamai Zimri could mean that he was Mizana with an Naira Murasa, which was one shot we had. The other shot is his Avera got him skila like it would have been if he was boiled Naira Murasa. The Chadamar Zimri Shemai. By the bris, they named him Zimri. Alama Nikra Shemai Achan. Why would he have been called Achan? She'ichein avoneseim shal Yisrael. Ichen is like a snake. A snake wraps around you like a constrictor and seals you in. As Rashi says, Ichen gilgal aleim pekudois avoneseim ka'ach nazu shemigalgelas behekav agam. What Achan did is he squeezed Klal Yisrael with their averis. V'yinaku atzman. I'm sorry. Im ein yodei l'tzradois Yehuda ayman l'nakas atzman. So we had the discussion, if someone is taka innocent, should he declare that he's innocent and say that the mitzvah should be mechaper and other averis? So the Gemara finished off. They told Rabbi Yehuda that's not appropriate because then everybody's going to do that. Frank Gemara, so what's wrong if everybody does? If you're not going to let everybody declare that they're innocent, who cares? So Gemara, that wouldn't be good. We don't want to be moitzilas al batadinim. Everyone's going to say that I'm innocent. It's not going to look good for the batidim. V'yal eidim, and the eidim as well. You're making them into liars. There was a person that was being let out to be killed, meaning there was 2 eidim that said he was, let's say, over in Aver, that's b'chayv misa. Amar, he said, if I actually have this Avera, this misa should have 0 impact. But if I'm talking innocent, then for my other affairs. Uvezdin v'chol Yisrael menukin. I have no taina on Bezdin for killing me and on Klal Yisrael because they did their job. They followed around. They followed along and they kosher edim. But the edim, they are fake edim. They should never have mechila la'olam. So this was a nice, eloquent speech. He wasn't all angry. He was very articulate. They said, you know what? With such a sane, clear argument, a respectful argument, maybe there's a mistake here. Maybe we have to prevent them from being killed. But we can't. There's a psak din. Ella yeharg v'yekoiler toloi v'tzavar edim. So what's going to happen? He has to get killed. And yes, now the edim, if they're responsible responsible for saying false edus, they're in trouble. So Pshita, of course. What's the chiddush? Edim came along. There's kosher Edim. What are you supposed to do? Pshita kol kavinei. What happened was after this man said this, that I'm never moichel them and they should never have a kapara, they got scared and they said, you know what? We made it up. We lied. Frank Tamar doesn't help. Even if they say they made it up and they lied, my hava shouldn't be able to protect him because once Adam says they're Adis, they can't retract. So
Yosy.
the halach is you got to kill him.
Yosy.
Yes.
Didn't we learned before the whole of them that if there's a reason new information comes up, we stop. So
yeah, but it has to be new information that could change the din. But there's a rule that Adam cannot retract.
Why that doesn't change the din?
Yeah.
No, because they cannot retract the testimony.
Why?
They cannot retract the testimony. Yeah, they cannot retract. That is the law. So Zok to Gemara lo tzricha the afal gav the kayoy v'tamelu masai. What if the Edom say, you know why we lied? Because we got into a fight with him and he was angry and this and that. Even if they have a valid explanation as to why they lied, we still don't accept it from them and they can't back out. And then the Gemara finalizes with Kiyahu Maisa, in brackets it says, the boy Michsa. So there's a long Rashi on it. I'll quickly tell you the story, a fascinating story. What happened was, there was a Maisa with a Muchas, a guy who collected taxes. We learned already that Muchsin aren't very respected. They're bad people. They extort Klal Yisrael. And what happened is the day that he died, a great person died, a Gadol died. And both Levias were going to take their body to bury. So you had a massive crowd behind the great tzaddik, and you said their family were there for the Leviah of this bad guy. And what happened was, in the middle of these 2 Levias, Goyim came and attacked them, and they had to escape, so they just left the bodies there and they just scattered to run for safety. However, there was one Talmud who was Mamas Moshe Nefesh to stay with the Mita of his Rebbe so that he could protect the body of his Rebbe. And what happened was eventually they all came back and the crowd got mixed up and they grabbed the Mita of the Rosh. In the meantime, the Talmud said, you got the wrong Mita, you got the wrong Mita. They ignored him. And they went and they buried the Rosh with the greatest covet as if it's a Levaya for a Gadol Hador. And the Gadol Hador, they ended up burying like the Rosh. The family took him and they buried him. So the question is, this Talmud was bothered. What was goyim that this tzaddik should have such a humiliating kfura, and this Rosh should have such an unbelievable covet? So his Rebbe came to him in a dream. His Rebbe said, don't feel bad. Baruch Hashem, I'm having a beautiful, beautiful Gan Eden. And this Russia is having a wicked, wicked Gehenna. But you know what? You know why I was punished this way? Because I once heard people speaking bad about Talmidei Chachamim, and I did not protest, and I was never punished. So that's why this is my punishment. What did this fellow do that he was zeicher to such a prestigious levaya? What happened was once there was a dignitary that he was supposed to meet, and he made a beautiful suda to welcome this goyish dignitary, and the dignitary didn't show up. So what did he do? He gave out all of this food to the aniyim. Moti, that's what you do, right? And he gave out the food to the aniyim. And this is the schar that he got. So he was a Rosh all his life, and look at what a schar he got, because he did one good deed. Amar Oisei Talmud. So the Talmud said, Ad Mosa ye Oisei ish nidain bidin kasha. Until when is this bad guy going to be in Gehenna? Lamaisa, he did a good deed. So they told him until Shimon ben Shetach dies, and then Shimon ben Shetach will get the Gehenna, and he will free up this other Rosh. Shimon ben Shetach should go to Gehenna. Why? So they said because there are Jewish magicians, Kashvaniyos, and they're in Ashkelon, and he could take care of them and eliminate them because they're doing a terrible affair, and he's not. He's looking the other way. That's a kafir chalaveir. So quickly the Talmud went to Shimon ben Shetach and told him the Shemayim is very angry at you. You better fix this. So what Shimon ben Shetach did was he went and he gathered 80 Talmidim, because there were 80 witches, and he gave them each a weapon, but he gave them each a jug, a waterproof jug, and he folded up a beged, like a coat for them, and he put it into those jugs to make them waterproof. And then he told the Talmidim, we're going to take care of these women, we're going to kill them, but you have to be careful. The first thing you should do when you walk into this house, when we do our ice raid, is lift them off the ground. Because once a kishiv macher's feet is not on the ground, they cannot do any kishiv. So the first thing you got to do is lift them up to protect yourself from them attacking you. So how is he going to get in and access to this lady? So Shimon Shetach went in and he said, you know what? I'm also a little bit of a magician. I want to come to magician school. Can I have a trial? So they said, sure. What could you do? He says, let me tell you what I can do. You see, it's pouring, raining outside. I'm going to have my Talmidim come in and they will be bone dry. They said, really? That's impossible. They're out in the rain. So he said, no, watch this. So all the Talmidim came in, and then they took the coats out of the waterproof containers and put them on. And they walked in bone dry. So he caught them off guard. And then right away, they took them all and they killed them all. What happened is the relatives of these witches were very angry at Shimon ben Shetach. So they came together as a pair of Edom, a fake pair of Edom, and they said Edus on the son of Shimon ben Shetach that he did something that would be Mechayev Hamisa. So they said false testimony to kill the son of Shimon ben Shetach. And they passed it like that. And he did the same thing. When they took him out to kill him, he said the same thing. If I'm guilty, then there's no kapara for me. But if I'm not guilty, my Misa should be a kapara for all my Averis, and let those two people who said false testimony, let them burn in hell. And now these two Edom heard that, and they got afraid. They backed out. So they came to Bez and they said, no, don't kill him. Don't kill him. We just said it to take revenge on his father, but they didn't listen to them, and Bezdin killed wrongfully Shimon ben Shetach's son because of this story. So that was the long story that Rashi shared. The story of the Reb Shimon ben Shetach and the witches. So we can call it AI and witchcraft. How's that for the name of the shir? Okay, everybody should have an awesome day, and Bez Hashem, we will see you tomorrow.
Go ahead.
I'm not. Should I arrange for Avram Weisbrot to say shir tomorrow? To say shir on Shabbos? Is anybody interested, or because I'm going to say shir Motzei Shabbos, so we'll catch up. But I could ask Avram to say on Shabbos if anybody would like.
I'm okay with it.
So I should ask him.
Who's gonna come? I want him that he should have at least a
Weisberger's
Mizumah.
not here, and Matthew's not here.
I might come.
So Akiva, can I leave it up to you?
No.
Okay. So I think the oil will come because I know Shimon Selinger comes every week. He expects a share, right?
It's getting a little.
And if Moisture announces it, they'll probably Mechi Wurzburger comes.
Most likely I'll come.
Matthew's in
The
Israel.
Mechi's in Israel.
Oh, that's right.
But I'll come. I'm gonna. Yeah, my son is here. I'll come.
Okay, so I'll ask him.
Yeah, and Greenberg comes half. What's his name?
That's right, Max. Max.
Max, right?
That's right. No, that's very important. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, Gewaltig.
Okay.
Great. Thank you very much, guys.
Sure,
Have an awesome
thank
day. I
you.
heard it's really cold over there.
So you got back your internet?
Yeah, they just put it back in today. So now I'm just contemplating how much I'm deducting from the cost of this apartment because I didn't have internet. For the last 3 days, I had to work outside. I was outside in just a little outside of the street, working on my computer till 3 a.m. last night. It's crazy.
From where? Where did you get internet?
No,
from?
it was off my phone. I have
data.
Data, but the problem is that inside you can't use it because in the old city you're like inside a cave. So you don't have any phone or Wi-Fi connection at all unless it's hardwired. So if I wanted to have internet, I had to be outside. So if I have to work, like I'm working very late because I'm working on regular hours, right? And
Right.
and it wasn't so good. Okay, we'll see what happens. Okay, everyone should have an awesome, wonderful day.
You too. I get excited.
So today at the Chorva Shul, they have Rosh Chodesh is a big deal. It's packed there, and they actually sing the whole hall together. It was really, really nice.
They bring in musical instruments too? No, not
No.
no.
But afterwards, once a month, they open up the upstairs, the catwalk around the top of the Chorva Shul. So I didn't go, but my son went, and he took pictures. So I posted one of the pictures.
Yeah, I saw. It looks beautiful.
Eretz Yisrael is beautiful.
Picture. Beautiful,
Awesome
isn't it?
place. Yeah. Yep, but I'm coming home soon.
No,
the
home.
Polak
You're
airline.
home. You're home.
It's right.
You're home.
Oh, you're saying good. You're saying
He's
good.
coming back.
Anyway, regards from the Mama, I was by the Mama this morning.
Went to
The Mama by Rachel.
Rachel. Wow.
So we should have only sure says I'm davening for everybody. For everybody. The Prat of the Chalal. So we did a 1-2 punch. We did the European Gedolim and we did the Eretz Yisrael.
Right.
The 1-2 punch.
We're covering the entire Sanhedrin.
We have the Rebbeinu Shalom literally backed into a corner, and like the Chassam Sofer is staring him down, and the Rishayla is staring him down. Everyone's staring him down. So Hashem is going to have to give us a lot of the Yeshuas to the Olam over here. We should all be every bracha that we need. We should have parnasa b'revach. We should have health. We should have good shidduchim and easy shidduchim and quickly for our children.
Right.
We should have nachis.
Amen.
We should have everything. I want you to know, Moti, whenever we leave a caver, so I told him, if you were crying, weren't you? She says, yes, I was crying. I said, so who are you crying for? So she started crying, like on the bus back from Caver Rachel. She started crying for Moshe first. So she was always crying. And Fairly Shefa, I'm crying for Moshe and Fairly Shefa. She was almost crying tears. Like I'm feeling awfully stupid. Like you know, I cry a little bit mistake. Sometimes by with Caver Rachel, maybe she's crying. But as we're walking back from Caver Rachel, and I'm asking her what she cried about, she started crying again.
Go ahead.
Okay, be well.
Take care.